high quality candidates don't like talking to entities like AI. What's your workaround?
Yep. So first, Yoodli is not a screener. It is not what determines whether a candidate gets a job or not. Someone like a Korn Ferry will offer Yoodli to their candidates as a practice tool to practice before the live interview. So Korn Ferry's portal is called Korn Ferry Advance. Anyone who logs in will get access to Yoodli through that. Separately, a smaller coaching firm might have their own portal with their own methodology, Grow, Star, Prep, whatever. They take Udemy, they make it their own bespoke version and use it to stay on retainer or to give their clients the ability to practice outside of sessions with the live instructor.
The idea of job security is outdated as a landline. If you haven't been in a search for a while, it's probable you will at some point, by choice or not. Most executives admit to staying way too long or sense what's coming and justify staying anyway. Here, there's another reason. The faulty belief that navigating to what's next will inevitably be worse and has to suck. Screw that. Lauren Greif has spent a lifetime in corporate and executive search, calling bullshit on stale career advice that most still use. This is Career Blast in a Half, the career podcast for executives ready to cut past outdated career advice to fuel your outcomes now. So let's go.
Okay, I'm telling you, like what they say about, somebody eating their own dog food in the best of all ways. That's why Varun is here. Varun Puri is living proof that the best entrepreneurs, the best CEOs out there solve their own problems. And this guy, oh my God, I've never had so much fun researching someone in my whole life, because behind this fine gentleman who cracked the nut and built his own category, and we're going to get to that, trust me, he is a championship chess player. He's internationally rated. He also was a college debate champion. All right. Like this is like a true Renaissance man. And he also discovered something that so many of us stumble across all the time: communication. And so he's been told that he talks too fast. He probably walks too fast. He probably types too fast. And if you're somebody who is a debate champion, you probably want to get your arms around that. He also founded the company that we're talking about today, Yoodli. And Yoodli was founded initially by a guy that he worked with in special projects over at Google. And that's how he walked away from that company to start Yoodli. So you are the king of AI role play. That's what you do, AI role play. Before you, nobody even thought about that or did that. And so I would just really like to know from your words, who and why did that become the thing that you got inspired by?
First off, thank you for having me. That was an incredibly generous introduction. I don't know how much of that I can keep living up to. A lot of that was me, in college and in school. But to your question on AI role plays, look, it's simple. I just think so many smart people struggle to speak with confidence, be this in an interview, a salary conversation, a public speaking engagement, a pitch, a date, someone with a stutter. And the best way to improve is to record yourself and watch yourself and cringe, or to role play with someone, right? Have someone be the audience, ask you questions, interrupt you. And the entire vision behind Yoodli is AI role plays as a category. Role plays for manager training and crucial conversations and sales enablement and interview prep and more. And let's go help billions of people with that.
You say it's simple, right? I'm curious, where do people start feeling the pain to realize that they might have a communication problem? Because it seems like it might be a little bit of a hard thing to self-diagnose, right? Like, how do you wake up in the morning and go, I have a communication problem, and it's so pressing that it's causing me X, Y, and Z. How does that work? What is the thought process that somebody might be going through? And this could be somebody with a dialect. It could be somebody, right? Like I now live in the South and I have a hard time understanding people. I don't know if they have a communication problem or I'm just not comfortable or used to that dialect. Where do we finally hit that threshold and says, I got to do something about it?
Yep, it's one of three things. It's either someone's given me feedback point blank. Varun, I was at your presentation and it was the most boring thing I ever attended. I never understood what you said. It's rare that people are this blunt, but if you get really bad feedback, it hurts. The second is if you've gotten a rejection of sorts or the audience hasn't been able to digest the information you're trying to give them. This could be, I applied for a job, I had my interview and I didn't get the job. Why didn't I? Maybe it was my communication skills. Or I gave this presentation to convince folks on my budget. They all liked me. They thought I presented well, but we couldn't land the budget. Does that have to do with my communication skills? And the third and actually most common is you're terrified yourself. 2 out of 3 people struggle with the fear of public speaking. You know that sinking feeling in your heart starts beating, your chest gets heavy, you're like, ugh, I would rather do anything in the world except for this. You keep procrastinating practice, either you don't do it altogether, and you're like, crap, this is something I struggle with and it's holding me back. And I've been meaning to do something forever, but I have this speech tomorrow. Let me just get through it, and then I promise I will work on it.
So there's some point in time where it starts becoming something that you can take ownership of versus, well, it was just one of those days, I was off. You have an internal or intrinsic kind of like alarm that goes off and goes, you know what? I'm dreading this. I keep dreading this.
It's exactly that. It's this sense of dread and wanting to avoid it at all costs. And after a while, people are like, I'll do something about it.
Play this out for us in today's hiring market, right? Because one of the things that I hear on a very, very regular basis is, the reason why I lost out to that job is because I didn't have X experience. The reason why I, didn't land that position is because they just went with another candidate or they lost the budget or some external thing, right? And so my question to you is, if you are somebody that knows that this is on your radar, you can control this. Why do we have to wait so long? And I'm going to just say it for myself and keep kind of like hammering this message home, prepare, 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 right? We know that preparation is such a 101 success formula. But then when it gets down to the opportunity to practice, people shy away. And you said it, cringe. I don't want to cringe. So what's the reason for avoidance?
It's, deep-rooted human insecurity. There's a reason 2 out of 3 people say this is bigger than the fear of death. And we've had this for civilizations, right? When our caveman ancestors saw a bunch of eyes, they would be like, oh my God, these are wolves about to attack us. So even today, when we need to present in front of people, this could be a group, an interview, whatever, the same fight or flight part of our body kicks in and we just start getting nervous. And to be honest, it's something we aren't often taught in school. Right? In school, we're taught how to take tests and crush it at that. Where do you have an interview negotiation class?
Yeah, we have often, and I know that this feature on LinkedIn is no longer available, but there was a feature. It allowed you to answer questions, send those questions back to a coach or somebody else. And we featured that feature in some of our programming and nobody used it. Nobody used it. And so in this case, and working with so many companies, how do you entice people to get on board? What is the incentive, the win, the promise that using this tool, Yoodli, will deliver on?
Yep, there's an input and an output. The input is it's a private judgment-free space. It's at your disposal. Nobody knows you're using it. It'll give you feedback. You don't have to feel judged, right? It's coming from AI, not another human. This is your batting cage. It's your practice arena. The output is, we can't guarantee you'll get the job because you worked at Yoodli, but we can guarantee that you will get better because you're practicing enough times. Yoodli just enables a practice environment and allows you to bring out the best in yourself.
I'm so glad you brought up the batting cage, because the batting cage is one of your through lines. I know that you compare your tool to batting cage. So here's the question, right? Baseball has like very clean metrics. You have your runs batted in, you have, how many home runs, you have this, you have that, you have percentages. My question is, like, in the realm of communications, which can be a little squishy and subjective and maybe even cultural, whose definition of good communication is Yoodli teaching us? Who is that for AI?
It's a great question. And the answer is whoever you're working with. Yoodli is not the arbiter of truth. Every coach has their own methodology. Toastmasters has a methodology that's different from Dale Carnegie, that is different from Harvard's Career Service Center, which is different from a debate program, which is different from a sales trainer. Everyone has their own. You come to Yoodli, you upload that, and then Yoodli will coach in your voice. For folks who come onto the consumer platform, they get feedback not based on what's right or wrong, but based on overall averages. Hey, you're speaking faster than 90% of our users, your filler word usage is compared to X, or here's how you could have improved your structure. This isn't necessarily right or wrong. It's just guidance on how you can improve.
So the reference point is to whatever the decision-making entity is. So based off of MIT's yada yada, based off of, whatever Wharton's piece is, that's where it is. And that also, correct me if I'm wrong, right, works with respect to organizations. And tell us about the kinds of organizations that are there for consumers to be able to get those metrics from. Like if I'm interviewing and I have like 5 different companies, what might some of those be?
Yep. We have 3 kinds of customers. We have consumers. Anyone who's got a speech tomorrow, they go to yoodli.ai, they sign up, they practice, they get better. We have large companies, Google, RingCentral, Databricks, Snowflake, who need to run training at scale on any of the above mentioned categories, manager training, sales training, etc. They will use Yoodli. And then we have coaching companies, Dale Carnegie, Toastmasters, business schools, debate clubs, sales trainers who will make Yoodli their own and use it to augment their coaching.
Right. And so I'm going to raise my hand. I'm a coach, and I'm thinking about adding this service into one of my programs. And so help me understand, if I am a candidate in the market, I'm a C-suiter, I'm a this, I'm a that. If I'm working through a big executive search firm like Korn Ferry, are they using this?
Yes.
And how are they using this? And how do I, like, what is the interface like? Because I've been hearing over and over again, like, high quality candidates don't like talking to companies like or entities like AI.
Yep.
What's your workaround?
Yoodli is not a screener. It is not what determines whether a candidate gets a job or not. Someone like a Korn Ferry will offer Yoodli to their candidates as a practice tool to practice before the live interview. So Korn Ferry's portal is called Korn Ferry Advance. Anyone who logs in will get access to Yoodli through that. Separately, a smaller coaching firm might have their own portal with their own methodology, Grow, Star, Prep, whatever. They take Yoodli, they make it their own bespoke version and use it to stay on retainer or to give their clients the ability to practice outside of session with the live instructor.
I am blowing the lid off of our best kept secret, our 30-day blast program. Yeah, you heard it. 30 days. We have seen so much success for this program that past clients have landed in that 30 days and increased their compensation 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, over 100%. Now, not everybody lands and earns that much in 30 days, but my point is it prepares you. And in 30 days, if you're not out of there with a changed mindset and changed clear and simple ways to be able to navigate the market this year, then we'll gladly refund your misery and you can go back to applying now. Check out the link below for the next 30-day blast, and we would love to have you there because we live for your success, and that's what's really important. See you then. So let's say I'm a lousy communicator, right? Like I use a lot of filler words, likes, ers, or I talk really, really fast, or I'm very fidgety, or somehow my vocal tones are very monotone and I start to put people to sleep, right? So how much better can I get? I mean, what is the upside? Like how good can I really be?
Yeah, I mean, look, the sky's the view, not the limit. Essentially, let's say filler words, pacing, monotonicity, I think those are the mechanics of speech. Obviously, Yoodli can help there. But where most candidates struggle is they don't have structure. They'll just ramble forever. You come, you do your first practice. Yoodli will take on your interviewer's persona, go back and forth with you, ask you hard questions, interrupt you, and then give you feedback. Varun, you were 30% concise. Try getting to 10%. Here's how to do that. And then I practice again. Just by the sheer act of practicing, I will likely improve. But then you'll also see your score get better.
So 20% better, 30% better, 40% better. What do you think? Like what's my upside? Because I think that it's important to understand that what you're offering isn't marginal.
Yep. Again, it depends on the user, right? We've got folks across the board, someone who could barely speak and uses Yoodli and gets 70, 80, 90% better. We've got someone who's just practices a few times and has a few percent point increase. I don't want to be the company that says use Yoodli and you will get 10% better. Communication skills are too subjective. It's come use Yoodli, get meaningful insights on your speech, and then you'll be able to improve.
So I know a lot of people are listening to this and they're like, oh, great. Like, I love that this can do that. But what's going to happen when you vacuum out the human of the humanity? And that's how I speak. Where are the pieces that we want to maintain? Yes, there's a lot of really important things that we can learn, but where are the pieces we want to preserve?
I think first off, I believe speaking is always vulnerable and authentic and nuanced, and shame on us if we build robots. That's not the goal. The idea is to help you be the best version of yourself. There are lots of companies that are building human replacements. Yoodli is not that. Yoodli's belief is you will always have to interact with another human. We will help you practice so you can interact the best that you can. What this means is Yoodli will never say, speak at 5 words per minute because that's what sounds good. Yoodli might instead say, hey, you sounded a little bit fast in your introduction, just FYI. And then I, as a learner, might be like, yeah, because I wanted to show excitement. It's very much like the medical report, right? Like I might have high heart rate initially, and the doctor's like, yeah, that context is fine because you're young. You should go run a little bit more. I would not use Yoodli as a source of truth. I would use Yoodli as a guidance for me to figure out what I want to focus on.
That's really good because there's always kind of like a catch-22 here. I love that you're not advocating for more commoditizing of yourself or your candidacy. I mean, the companies that you're working with, Databricks, Korn Ferry, Snowflake, Google, they're paying real money for this, like real money for this on an enterprise level. Why did they decide what was so pressing for them? What was at risk with their internal employees, maybe with their managers who were essentially the face of different levels of the organization? Why did they decide to come on board with you?
Yep, I think it's because this is such a palpable problem. If I am Google, I need to train 15,000 reps on my new pitch. How do I do that? I give them passive videos, I give them quizzes, I nudge them, I get all 15,000 in a room. It just doesn't scale. GenAI and Yoodli has made that doable now.
So you're doing it at scale, and then do they see the results, or is that confidential? I'm in a training session. I'm 1 to 15K. I go through this. I have access to this. Now what?
For Google at the org level, their benefits are reduce ramp time. What would have taken months to train people, they can now do in days. Ensure the entire organization is speaking in the same voice with the same challenges, etc. For the learner, it's, look, you're going to be better at your job. You finish your training or certification, you likely land that sale, you'll get more commission.
Okay. there's an upside in terms of suggesting a performance incentive, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Be better at your job is the ultimate win. What's next? Because I don't know you well, but I sense that you're a voracious and curious innovator. And I mean, I learned a little bit about how this might integrate with some level of eye tracking and so forth and so on. But tell us what's next. What else do you foresee either this product augmenting to and or other products that may also solve a communication problem or something else?
Yep, two things. One, more realistic role plays with avatars that look and feel like someone on the other side and go back and forth with you with very rich feedback. We are very, very close to that. The second is a communication coach by your side anytime you speak, right? It nudges you being like, Varun, what you're saying right now doesn't work. It's like your friend, your spouse, your colleague in the audience who's like, listen, I got your back. Just slow down right now.
Okay, so more realistic role playing with avatars.
And the second is a communication coach by your side anytime you're speaking.
So that could be for public speaking. It could be for TEDx. It could be, is that correct?
Yep.
Okay. Excellent. So who should contact you? Who should be reaching out to you?
One, anybody who wants to improve their communication skills. You've got a speech, an interview, something you're practicing for. Go to yoodli.ai, sign up. You don't even need to contact us. You can start using the tool for free. Second, organizations who want to train their employees. This can be a 10-person, a 5-person organization, a coach, a large Google-like company where you've got to do consistent training at scale. Use Yoodli for it, and then reach out at sales@yoodli.ai.
Thank you for doing this. Thank you for jumping through so many hoops and squeezing us in today. All of your contact information and how to, where to, et cetera, will be below. And as you know, between you and me, I'm really looking forward to doing a white label with Yoodli and seeing how we might be able to integrate this for our executives. Why? Because what I know is that that's one of the things that most people never get raw and real feedback from in their interviews. They always hear, well, we went with another candidate, but that doesn't get to the real issue that's underlying one of the reasons. So in the spirit of eliminating any objections, even before they show up, this is within your control. And, I always say, I make jokes about this all the time, video doesn't lie. So even between now and then, practice, please, because most of the time, nobody's going to be that loved one. The loved one should tell you. A loved one should tell you, So I appreciate you being here, and congratulations on just such a stellar project and product that is solving such a big issue and democratizing communication.
Such a pleasure. Lauren, thank you for having me.
Of course.
See you.
Yes, you will. Bye-bye.
Cheers.
Hey. Okay, I have an important message, and it's really a thank you message. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for being just the most generous audience. We are getting so much love that is coming back. And why? Because you know the deal. We call bullshit on outdated career advice. And if you didn't see it, I got a really, really great feature in Business Insider, and I'll make sure that that's below. But that being said, please go ahead and subscribe to this program, to this channel, to this podcast. And then, of course, go share it with your friends. Okay? Have a great rest of your day. And thanks again. Big heart.
Thank you for joining today. We appreciate your listening ears. Big time. We ask this: use these tools, not tomorrow, right now, and share them by spreading the love, leaving us a rating and subscribe so you don't miss the next career blast and a half. Most of all, thank you for you.